Hey guys, welcome to Game Back. Today we're doing a video, and today we're covering the MP5, the new MP5 SD6, or the something Shroud is what it's called here. We'll go ahead and get into it, but this, you can convert it to an MP5 SD6. We'll go through this thing, take a look at the weapon, the attachments, and how it handles in some of the gameplay. So let's go ahead and we will back out. So this is the Lachman Shroud is what it is here. You can see the final design here. Now, how do you unlock this weapon? There's a new battle pass tier that was added with this weapon. You see the new weapon. This is the one that was redacted or locked till the release date. So here we go. You see the tiers here. You get the STI 2011 pistol there as well, which you'll see in the gameplay. We'll do our own conversion on that probably later this week. And then we have the main weapon there is the MP5SD. So we'll go ahead. Back to our weapons. Let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. This is the MP5SD. What we're going to do is we will go ahead and strip this down to base. Here's the base design of this weapon. So again, the MP5SD6 is really more along the lines of what it is because of the 3-round burst trigger group. So for the barrel, you can see the option. We're going to leave the base barrel here. It is not... It doesn't quite look like an MP5SD. Obviously, there's always going to be differences. It doesn't even really look like it's an integral suppressor. It looks like that suppressor is screwed onto the end, which it really isn't. But it wouldn't be in real life. But it looks like it is. But regardless, we're going to leave the base suppressor. For the laser option, we'll go with the best hipfire option here. Is the point G3P04. Going to give us hip recoil control, hipfire accuracy, sprint to fire speed. The cons with the laser visible at the hip. Go ahead and select that. For the optic, for this one, I like to run a just a standard EOTech is always good. We'll run the fixed buttstock here. Now, you don't really have any other stock options that are new with this, I don't believe. You have other shared options with the Lachman sub. Now, also to note, none of these barrels are shareable within any of the Lachman classes that I saw, unless you're watching this later down the road and they changed it. None of these barrels, not even the base barrel, are shareable with the regular MP5. So keep that in mind. For the rear grip option, we're going to go with the Lachman TCG10. This is going to give us more along the lines of just recoil control and more of the SD6 type lower receiver. So we'll go ahead and select that. The con is going to be aiming stability. Magazine, we'll leave the base 30 rounder. However, we have a 15, 40, and a 50 rounder again. Ammunition, we're going to run... Now, one thing that's cool about this is because it is... you have subsonic ammunition, meaning it travels... the sound below the speed of sound it travels, so it's going to be a quieter round. And here you have all these are subsonic rounds. So we're going with a subsonic overpressured rounds. Going to give us no enemy skulls and target flinch. However, all of these are going to give you no enemy skulls just because they are subsonic. So go ahead and select that. Underbarrel option, we're going to go with a Magpul vertical foregrip because aesthetics and it looks really clean. So we'll go ahead and select that. And this is our final design for the MP5 SD6. Now, the SD6 is more along the lines of it has the retractable buttstock, 3-round burst trigger group, and the integrated suppressor. Now, again, this suppressor looks, it doesn't look fully integral. It's hard to tell, but for whatever reason, it just looks like it's screwed on there. But you can tell when you look through the kind of the bits of the handguard, you can see the suppressor is full length, I think, at least. But it is an interesting design. Regardless, we have the trigger group there is safe, burst, or semi-auto for a single round. And you can see we have a Picatinny rail on the left, right, and bottom of the handguard. And there we have the integrated pick rail on the top of the receiver for the EOTech retractable buttstock. But again, the problem is none of these barrel options are shareable for the regular MP5. So if you're trying to make a full auto MP5, you cannot do it, at least at the time I'm making this video, because if we go ahead and I'll just do it here quickly. We'll go ahead, SMG Lachman sub. Let's go ahead and select it. Barrel option, right? You don't have that barrel option at all, which is pretty strange. Interesting. So again, we'll talk about that more in the video, but regardless, go ahead and jump into the gunsmith here. Again, MP5SD6. It looks pretty clean. However, it is only 3-round burst and semi-auto. So, cool thing is here is, let's do the inspect. See the subsonic overpressured ammunition. Looks good. Interesting. Really simple inspect. Now, it's going to be a 1-burst kill for these first two, I believe. So, down. I missed a shot there. A couple of those didn't register. And then if we switch to semi, it's going to be a 4-shot kill at range, I believe, here for the 50-meter target. Okay, it was 3. This should be a 1-round burst. Maybe 2. There we go. That was 1. So let's try it in semi. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's interesting that this second target, we're not getting the 3-shot kill. Don't know why, but in semi, it is a 3-shot kill. So that's pretty interesting. But regardless, it is you can burst fire it pretty fast. That's just me burst firing as fast as you can. So not too bad. Let's take a look at the recoil. 1-round burst. Now that only fired 3 rounds, so that one of them must have hit right on target. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. There's a 3. The first one only looked like a 2. Let's try it once more. 1, 2, 3. I'm curious if let's reload this really quick and try the first burst. Okay, there it is. So I don't know what happened with that first burst. Now let's let it rip. So there you go. It's going to be very accurate because it is a burst fire weapon. Hip fire is pretty good. You'll see a lot of that in the gameplay. There's the reload empty mag. And a new pistol. There you go. So that's the Lachman sub with the MP5SD6. Go ahead and jump into the gameplay here. Playing on the new map here in Season 5 Reloaded. But the MP5SD, overall the MP5 is obviously H&K, so it's Heckler Koch is where it was originally, is who manufactures this weapon. The MP5 at base has been in service since 1966. The MP5SD, however, has been in service, was created in 1974. So integrated suppressor is a 2-stage suppressor to reduce gas and all of that. There's a lot of different variants. We have the SD1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have the SDN1, which has a fixed buttstock, and the SDN2, which has a retractable buttstock with different Navy Navy trigger groups, Knight Armor Company stainless steel suppressors, things like that. So there's a couple different variants as far as the SD goes. But again, the MP5 itself, 1966 was created or put into service. 1974 for the MP5SD. It's seen service on a lot of different wars. It is probably the world's most popular submachine gun PDW. Manufacturer again is Heckler Koch. Produced 1966, or in this case 1974 through present. Variants are a lot of different variants. If we're talking just the MP5SD, we already covered those. The mass overall is going to be around 5.6 pounds. The length, depending on the buttstock options, is going to be around 27 inches, whether it's when it is fully extended. The barrel length, again, depending on the version, is going to be 8.9 inches. The width of the weapon is going to be 2 inches, and the height is going to be 10.2 inches with the magazine inserted into the weapon. The cartridge that this fires in this game is going to be 9x19 Parabellum. However, in real life, you can fire 9x19. You can fire 10mm auto or 40 Smith & Wesson. The action is a roller-delayed blowback closed bolt system that is famous with H&K. Now, the rate of fire for the MP5SD itself is going to be 300 rounds per minute. Now, here in game, because it's only a 3-round burst, I believe it's going to be obviously probably a little bit less, but regardless, in real life, there's different variants of this, so there are some 3-round burst options, obviously, with the Navy triggers, things like that, but in real life, we're looking at around 700 rounds per minute. The muzzle velocity is going to be 400 meters per second, with the effective firing range of 200 meters or 656 feet. The feed system, you get a 15, 30, 40, and a 50-round detachable magazine. You also have a 100-round Beta C-Mag drum of the 9x19. And the sights are rear rotary drum iron sights, as well as you can put a front-headed post on there for the Picatinny with the EOTech like we have here, or any other type of optic. But again, the MP5SD is probably the most famous of all of the submachine guns or PDWs in the world. Definitely the biggest one in Call of Duty. We've seen it in pretty much every single game. And that brings me to the other question here, or I guess point, is with the MP5, you already have the MP5 in the game since day one. Now here we go with the MP5SD, which in Modern Warfare 2019 was a simple barrel attachment. Here you have it as its own weapon, which is in 3-round burst, which is a little bit strange. Same with the M13B and the M13C. The only difference there necessarily really being the ammo type, and then you have a couple different attachments for that. So it's not that I wouldn't call it lazy. Honestly, I think it's a cool addition to the game. However, I don't understand really why the ammunition category for the M13B wasn't just added with different blackouts and maybe a different couple of barrel attachments, things like that, and why the MP5 didn't just get different barrel attachments for the MP5SD instead of having its own new receiver. So I think what they're doing here most likely is they obviously have a lot of weapons they want to save for Modern Warfare 3, so that's probably the reason that this was done, I'm assuming. That way they're not releasing weapons that we're going to see repeated in Modern Warfare 3. So they're kind of like biding their time, I believe. I wouldn't call it lazy. I think plans changed, and that probably was the original plan to do it kind of like Modern Warfare 2019. But here we are with Modern Warfare 3, which was never supposed to really happen from what we have heard, at least. So they're obviously pivoting and making some changes. So it is what it is. I would have preferred to see different attachments added to the existing weapons of the same platform. Like, we already have the MP5, we already have the M13, or the Virtus. I would have liked to see the different ammo categories and barrels added to those existing weapons and see new weapons like LMGs, which we haven't had. So again, obviously it's because we have Modern Warfare 3 coming out and they're trying to just kind of pump the brakes here and give us more while giving us a little bit of less, I guess. But not really. They're kind of trickling the weapon feed to us, I guess you would say, as we get into Modern Warfare 3. So again, it's not how I would have added the weapons, but they did it obviously for reasons. So how does this perform in Warzone or DMZ? I don't really know yet. It's a weird weapon. It's 3-round burst. I think it's going to be a pretty good weapon up close. But, again, I would have liked to just see attachments added to existing weapons. But let me know your thoughts down below. The MP5SD6, pretty good weapon, fun to use. And the new pistol, also, the STI 2011, we'll go ahead and cover another video also. But let me know your thoughts down below. Till next time, this is Buffner Gaming with the MP5SD6. Till next time, this is Buffner Gaming. Out.